The question, how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
Locally, my clients are physicians, nurses, single moms, couples, multiple generations of families, seniors on fixed incomes, disabled, veterans, residents of assisted living facilities, and teachers at the local elementary, middle, and high schools. Most are dealing with serious issues other than their smoking habit, further degrading their quality of life and their ability to quit smoking. From 18 to 96 years old with an average age of over 40, nearly all referrals by other successful clients. Most have smoked for decades, the result of the 93% failure rate that they've been stuck with. They don't believe you and don't trust you with damn good reason. You will never reach these people. They know you don't care and they despise you for it. I greet them in a t-shirt, this one with Kevin Crowley on it, and blue jeans, and a nicotine molecule tattooed on my forearm.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science. What about...
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
I'm here. I think I'm here, but Kevin is not here yet. Kevin is having some technical difficulties. It looks like he has fucked up his computer. But anyway, we will endeavor to do everything that we can to entertain and aggravate you tonight. So I have a few things to say.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
So, we're I guess I just got to bing. Let's see if he's figured it out. Welcome Kevin to the show. Hey, there he goes. Now I can hear him and see him.
I got lights. I got sound. I can hear your ass.
It appears you have de-boomered your computer.
It's old people stuff. That's all.
Well, you missed the new video piece.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh no! I have to play it later because I just played it, and people that have been here on time would be annoyed. We'll have to play it again later. But my new 1984 Brian King video. I have made a new video. But anyway, how the hell have you been this last week?
I've been all right, except for my sad news. That's all.
Yes, I did put it in the show notes at the very top. For those of you that don't know, very awesome human being, amazing advocate for vaping. We've talked about him on this show many times as a wonderful human being that we loved. Ray Yeats did pass away this week, last Sunday actually. I don't have any details, but I will I will share. I have to present this. I forgot it's not called share anymore. I will present the message from the INCO website that has the words of our very good friend Ivana. So I will share this and read it for you. It is with heavy heart that I announce, and this is Ivana, that I announce some very sad news today. I just found out 20 minutes ago that my dear friend, mentor, that kept me going, and fellow THRA Canada advocate and co-founder Ray Yeats has passed away on Sunday, August 23rd, 2022, in the morning. Ray had fought illness for a long time, but he swore it was because he swore it was because he vaped that he had lasted as long as he did. 8 years ago, he was given 6 months to live. Ray, God bless him, lasted longer than 6 months. He lasted 8 years. All thanks to switching to vaping. I have many people to thank for being kind to Ray. Our very good friend Kevin, as mentioned, Kevin Crowley, Mr. Cranky Jr., and Aaron Beavert, who interviewed Ray a few times. Thank you both, along with many members of INCO, for playing a role in Ray's life. So people who come to mind, or some people that come to mind, are Nancy Lucas, Robert Ennis, Andy Morrison, to name a few. Forgive me if I'm quiet for a while. This comes as a shock to me, even though I knew Ray was not well. He had been struggling a lot, and over the past few months. Thank you, Ray Yeats, for the courage you gave me to carry on. Keep up the good fight for those billion lives that did matter. Never forget the smoker was always Ray's words. Thank you, Ray, for the good fight for those billion lives. We love you, and we miss you. Rest in peace, dear friend and mentor, Ivana.
Yeah.
So that is a huge kick in the pants right there. Ray was a huge role model for a lot of people. I interviewed Ray back in 2014 on the Vaping Militia show, on our Vapors TV show back then. He was just an amazing human being. So, everybody, if you pray, send some good thoughts his way. If you don't, do whatever it is that you do in someone's name. But anyway, it would be a bad week for anything bad to happen. But so anyway, on a brighter note, Kevin shared an article. Kevin, right into the nonsense. Here we go. Let me go ahead, and this is one that you shared. This is about fuzzy tobacco control math. Yeah. If we don't, you're not losing your mind if we seem to be moving fast tonight. We're going to try to cover this stuff, but I also have somewhere to be in the morning. So if we're only here for 2 hours instead of 4, that's just the way it's got to be, guys. But it's only important when it's me. When it's Kevin that has something to do, he has to stay on the whole time.
That's right.
So this is from the Tobacco Reporter. And then there's a picture of a guy scratching his head with some equations.
That's me.
That's you. Well, no, he has hair.
I have hair, you goofball.
Anyway, the FDA's recent rejection of Logic products is based on questionable statistics, says Neil McKeeganey of the Center for Substance Abuse Research. There you go, Kevin. I'm gonna give you a full page of text to read.
All right. So last week in Washington, D.C. at the FDLI Tobacco Conference, Dr. Doofus King, director, explained that the FDA would be using the recently released 2022 National Tobacco Survey results to inform its judgment. Remember, it's all about the science, folks. to inform its judgment as to whether ENDS products being assessed under a pre-market tobacco product application process would be deemed appropriate for protection of public health. So again, kids, is it about science? For those unfamiliar with the survey, they just published it, 9.4%. We know these numbers. We've been tweeting them for weeks. 84.9% of the flavored e-cigarette using youth, which is a fun number. 84.9% of the flavored e-cigarette youth had used a non-tobacco flavor, and that 26% of those had used menthol flavored e-liquids.
Okay, so all right. So they're saying that of all of the children's that use vaping products, 84.9% of them used flavored products. But that still means that about 16% or so, which is 15.1%, use tobacco flavored.
Imagine.
Yeah. So I'm just, and then some of those people actually used menthol tobacco because 26.6% used menthol.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's
some
some overlap there.
Keep in mind, this is for the protection of public health. These are extrapolated numbers. So if anyone in the audience thought there may be a disconnect between his words and the actions, they were proved wrong barely a week later when marketing denial orders arrived at the doorstep of Logic Technology Development for its menthol package and pro menthol e-liquid package. They accompanied something that I heard through the grapevine was actually already given to them. In light of King's warning, you might think the company received those orders. Receiving those denial orders could hardly have expected anything else. On the face of it, the figures are very scary, seemingly justifying immediate action. I disagree on the part of the FDA. But as with all percentages, you have to look a little closer at what is actually being reported before you push the red button of alarm. Within the CD mortality and morbidity weekly report setting out the results, the prevalence of youth of Logic products is shown to be 4.3%. However, that is not 4.3% of all youth, but 4.3% of the 9.4. This is tobacco control math, folks. Yes. This is what the problem is. Who are currently vaping within the U.S. With that clarification, the numbers begin to look very different to the headline announcements. Instead of alarming levels of Logic use amongst youth, the extent of that use reported by the CDC researchers is 4.3% of 9.4%. You see where I'm starting to scratch my head?
Yeah, so it's 0.4% of the total number of youth. The Utes using e-cigarettes use Logic brand. 0.4%.
0.4.
So they've extrapolated that to mean about 100,000 of the total number of childrens that are vaping are using that particular brand.
Tobacco control math. It gets worse than this because
but Kevin,
what?
Not to interrupt you, but the number one product that is most popular amongst the children's don't even have a PMTA attempt. I don't think.
Is that the Puff?
I don't think Puff Bar even put in a PMTA. So banishing all of these legal products that have tried to do the right thing, and not even doing anything about the massive numbers of children using these I don't want to say the companies that didn't even try.
Right.
So later on, at the very end of the show, I'm going to show you the Reagan Udall place where you can actually leave comments for the FDA's investigation thing, the third party organization that is, and we're going to read some of those comments. So I want you to remember my comment about smacking these companies that are trying to do the right thing and not doing anything about the companies that aren't.
No,
we're just put a pin in that comment for later. But anyway, continue.
It gets worse. Unfortunately, the survey does not collect information on the specific logic devices that youth in the U.S. are using. Lots of U's in here tonight. However, research currently underway by the Center for Substance Use Research in Scotland does have the data. Scottish researchers have been studying ENDS use among representative samples of U.S. youth and adult in 2021, 2022, collecting the data on over 20 leading brands and over 200 specific ENDS devices. Sounds like it's a deep dive. In this Scottish research, out of the 1,215 youth 13 to 17 surveyed in 2022, 0.2% had ever used a Logic Power and 0.5% had ever used a Logic Pro. When the Scottish researchers looked at the youth e-cigarette use over the last 30 days, remember, the levels of Logic use shrank even further, with 0.1% of the youth reporting having used the Logic Power in the last 30 days, and the level of Logic Pro use was so low that it was not even recorded. Haven't I heard this somewhere else before? Smoking was so low they stopped recording it. So in dispatching the MDOs for these two products, the FDA seemed to have set aside a commitment to review the data around individual devices and liquids to formulate a response in terms of the brand of product being used and justify the denial orders issued by the reference to the NYTS data. However,
Kevin,
yep.
I got to interrupt you again.
Yep.
Now, you remember when FDA said that they were going to prioritize the PMTAs of the biggest players first?
Yes, I do. In fact, you've told me that.
Well, I mean, they said it. I just repeated what they said. So
well,
you would think that products that are higher market cows, the products that have huge chunks of the market would be prioritized to get their MDOs first. Because, I mean, they're all getting MDO'd. Yeah. So Juul did receive an MDO, didn't they? Don't I remember seeing a headline about Juul getting an MDO?
Yes.
And then they appealed that.
We're banned. Right? We're not banned. Yeah.
Yeah. So so they have had at one point a huge chunk, but then we talked subsequent to that how that Juul was no longer the number one brand among the Utes.
Nope.
That it had moved over to this bar thing.
Yeah.
And they were a multi-billion-dollar thing. The founders of the company were on like 60 Minutes or some big, huge news program. Two young guys in California working out of a small office with two laptops, and they were making billions of dollars, right? So
in a van.
If they had done a PMTA, you would think we would have seen a headline regarding their MDO, but we never did that. Never saw that.
Right.
So then you would think other available products that are mass produced and all over the place, like Blue from Phantom. I mean, they're in lots of places.
Yeah.
You would think that they would have gotten an MDO. I haven't seen that. I know that Reynolds or those companies, they still make stuff. I still see stuff on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about their MDOs. They're everywhere that the children's can see them and buy them.
Illegally is RBMK.
Well, yes, they're obviously illegal. Yeah, illegally. What else? Who else has received an MDO? Obviously, there are a few other companies that have received MDOs in the e-liquid market, or refuse to file, or any, denial of we're rejecting your application. We've seen that. I saw this week that one of the Vapor Craft or Liquid Craft or something Craft had received. They had lost their appeal in court. I saw that somewhere, but I failed to see these big companies, these huge companies that are really the worst actors and the ones that the kiddies use.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen anything about the FDA cracking down and seizing shipments at customs, or closing convenience stores that sell them, that they get caught, they should be closed immediately. I haven't seen any of that, Kevin.
No, you can't do that. You just screw with the people that have the shops. That's
yeah. Just fuck the mom and pop guys, the small companies that don't do any, that at least are not the primary agitators and the worst of the bunch. But anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Of who we know, those people are probably 99% not selling those products anyway.
Well, no, everybody that we know are good people, but there are some shitheads in this industry. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving everybody a free pass. But continue, Kevin.
Which one? However, there's something more troubling. Did I already do that?
Yeah, no, that's the way you were.
In the MDOs that have been dispatched this week, if the CDC researchers estimates of only 4.4% of the U.S. youth have a specified branded ends, product is sufficient for FDA to issue an MDO. One has to wonder at the relative value that is being placed here on the goal of helping adult smokers to quit and the goal of preventing youth vaping. Well, that's access. The good news is in the NYTS research is that overall levels of e-cigarette use by youth in the U.S. is declining. The bad news is that it would appear from the logic experience that for as long as the data reveal this should have been highlighted so bad in red, any level of ends use, no matter how small, the FDA may still regard that as sufficient to issue an MDO. The implicit suggestions here then is that FDA are operating on a zero tolerance approach to youth ends use and prepared to sacrifice every lamb, the potential benefit of ends products for adult smokers on the altar of youth ends prevention, which is what Gottlieb said right on news or something. We got him on a clip a while back. It's going to be at the cost of the adults, period.
Yeah.
That's what Jerry said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys are going to have to figure this out and admit some things, or we're going to fucking motherfucker. Cracking. So, yeah.
So, yes, I mean, it seems to me, and I said this before,
bad
and I've tweeted this actually, Kevin, but I've never gotten a response, is it, in their estimation, is preventing one kid from using a vapor product worth a million adult humans' lives. What is the comparative acceptable threshold?
Where was this effort 30 years ago for cigarettes?
If that amendment that you're always bringing up is 20%,
Signer.
If that's acceptable,
it is acceptable. Then why are we not? Or why are we held?
Why? Shouldn't it be if 20% of the kids? How is it acceptable for states to receive federal funding, even if their youth smoking numbers are at 20%?
Right.
But it's not acceptable for 20% of the kids to use. And obviously, we're not saying that kids should ever vape. Again, I should always preface this. But you're saying that there is zero acceptable use. None.
Big fat effing. Hi, Skip. I saw you. Just about the same amount as the government caring about you. Zero. That's that right there.
Did Skip come in? There, I did see her. Hello.
She's in there. She's snooping.
That's one thing that I didn't do when you're in all of our technical difficulties is we didn't say hi to Tom or Homicidal Maniac. He's our BMKII tonight, but that's homicidal.
Oh, that's who that is.
And then Tom and Mallory and David. Hello, guys. I see Skip and Troop and Bruni. Howdy doody time. Troop.
That Troop guy. Who'd we miss?
You know,
Tom?
I didn't have any pictures of Skip this week. I'm disappointed that Mark didn't.
Is he alive?
I think she might have killed him.
Is he? Is he? Now we need a picture of him sleeping.
Now I just need to make sure that I want to see I want to see a video so I can see that his lungs are his chest is rising and falling so that we can guarantee that it's not a dead Mark.
You know the headline's going to be "The Be Kind Woman Kills Husband." No. Mm-hmm.
Be nice.
I
be nice until it's time.
You know what? As long as she keeps saying that, I have a goal. Right? That's the best I can tell you. Well, survey.
No, that was. Oh no, that's different. You know.
Are you crazy?
Yeah. Yes.
So, for those of you that missed out on last week's replay, the replay was taken down by the YouTubes because of one of the video clips that we played from the Daily Show, where we were critical of their host. We received a copyright ding. I had to. It is being or has been edited out, and the show will be up at some point.
Tisk,
I gave YouTube permission to take it out. It was only 40 seconds, but apparently that is not allowed. So shame on me for doing that.
Yeah,
but it was funny.
Sad I didn't know who he was.
Trevor Noah. Yes, he's now even more on our poopy list. Here, you want to see somebody famous?
But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
You remember me touching you?
I was gonna make a joke about Nancy Pelosi's husband being hit in the head with a hammer today, but I decided that was not nice.
All I hope is that he's going to get some really flavorful ice cream when he gets home.
I actually hope that they find the evidence of her paying for the attacker. That would be okay in my book.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
And ice cream. I hope he gets ice cream.
Well, I mean, obviously, if he gets ice cream or if he gets rid of her,
Oh, check your notification.
Oh.
There was one. Daddy.
But he never tags us because he calls us the TV guys.
Yeah, we don't know. Somebody usually.
I did see. Oh, she did. Okay, so we do have proof that Mark is alive because there is Mark. Unless that's an old picture.
That's an old picture. That's like 2 months old.
That could be an old picture. Just saying.
She's got stock photos of Mark eating lunch and mowing the yard.
Saying, skippers. That could be old. We got to call her Weeble or Weeb.
That's right. He gives us helpful hints.
She says, "I just took it." That looks exactly like a different picture you sent of him. Just saying. We're concerned.
We love Mark. Tell him we love him.
Just want to be careful around her. That's why I didn't go to Washington, D.C. I was afraid that I might not come home.
I know.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what else do we got here? I found this study that was just a release. You're not going to see it everywhere because it doesn't say things that people want to, But here, I'll show this. This says e-cigarette use alters respiration, but does not impair lung function, according to new findings.
All right.
So let's scroll down. A recent study published by the NPJ Pulmonary Care Respiratory Medicine journal indicated that although vaping increases resistance, it does not impact lung function. Addie, stop it. We're finishing the show on that topic. How many times do I have to yell at you people about not looking at the show notes and not spoiling shit?
So is this something like
later?
Like Dr. F would have told us, and then everybody would be really pissed off about it. Is this what
a recent study published by the NPJ Pulmonary Care Respiratory Medicine Journal indicated that although vaping increases airway resistance, it does not impact lung function.
Okay.
And then there's a stock picture of vaping
It's
devices.
actually kind of a decent headline. It's kind
quite
of
large, this photo. Anyway, in recent years, e-cigarette use or vaping, which was regarded as a safer alternative to traditional cigarettes, has had a huge impact on the tobacco industry. However, evidence depicts the harmful effects of vaping on the respiratory system. In e-cigarettes, nicotine combustion is replaced by the electronic heating of a fluid. Some manufacturers claim that e-cigarettes have fewer adverse effects on respiratory system than smoking tobacco. E-cigarettes have tried as an alternative to what?
I know this tune.
Oh, this is just the background. So e-cigarettes have been tried as an alternative to smoking tobacco for addiction treatment, as an aid to quit smoking tobacco smoking, as an aid to quit tobacco smoking. Previously believed to be less hazardous to health than traditional cigarettes, the negative impact of vaping on the lungs is now common knowledge, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
The emergence of e-cigarette and vaping related associated lung illness, EVALI, has raised concerns about the short-term respiratory effects of vaping, particularly when cannabis or THC-containing products are used in e-cigarettes. They're not. That's a completely different device. Right. Considering this evidence, the safety of e-cigarette use and its efficacy remain disputed. Therefore, an extensive study was undertaken to investigate the effects of vaping on lung function.
I'm remaining skeptical.
The study. This systemic review, which means that it's not really a study, it's a review, entailed a comprehensive analysis of how vaping affects pulmonary function. The goal of this review was to obtain information regarding the short-term effects of vaping and vaping-associated lung illness to determine the safety of vaping on short and long-term use. A study protocol was prepared and recorded in the Prospero database of systemic reviews. This systemic review was conducted based on preferred reporting items for systemic reviews and meta-analysis, PRISMA recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Using Ovid, Cochrane, Web of Science, Core, and Central Database, the researchers searched Embase, PsycInfo, and Medline from 2004 to 2021 to identify 8,856 potentially relevant studies. Think about that, Kevin. There are over 8,000 studies.
Potentially
8,000 studies.
Just to
that are about vaping and lung function.
Mm-hmm. But they don't know enough, Patrick. Come on.
No, there's not. Overall, 273 participants were included in the 8 related studies. 7 studies examined the immediate effects of vaping, while only one examined the long-term effects. So, according to the literature review, only 8 small-scale studies addressed this topic. Among these, one study examined the long span outcomes, 3.5 years. These studies revealed that vaping was not associated with any acute health-related changes. On the other hand, 2 studies disclosed that e-cigarettes might accentuate airway resistance and conductance across diverse demographic subgroups. Due to the limited number of studies available on this topic, and because most focus on the acute effects of vaping, these findings are suggestive but not conclusive, and further research is necessary. Give me more money so I can do more studies. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to mute people, Kevin.
I do want to say that
I'm going to put people
grateful.
in timeout. I'm going to start timing people out.
I'm grateful that most of the people at that summit got to meet Skip. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm glad that none of them turned up dead.
Well, you weren't there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. My lung function kind of there. Okay, I'm better now. All right.
So anyway, there were a few other limitations to the interpretability of the results. 3 of the included studies had an unknown risk bias, 4 had a moderate risk bias, and 1 had a high risk bias. You know what that means, right?
Glance.
Bias risk.
Oh.
They're saying that, oh, well, you know, these guys might have got money from, you know, people we don't like. So they're a bias risk.
Mm-hmm.
So we may just ignore their results because we don't like where their money came from, Kevin.
Yeah.
Additionally, due to data heterogeneity.
Careful now.
This review did not undergo subgroup analysis or meta-analysis. This search incorporated only a small number of studies, owing to the difference among study designs and definition of e-cigarettes and the participants' smoking status.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's another one here. It can cause heart arrhythmias, Kevin.
Well, so can you, but I don't.
Well, I mean, that's just abnormal heartbeat. And it is a stimulant. And if you have a heart condition, it may not be great for you, but neither is caffeine. But it's better than, you know, filling your lungs full of carcinogens. I'm just saying, right. You know. According to some studies, the term non-vapor includes traditional smokers and non-smokers. No, it doesn't. This led to inconsistent data and non-differentiation of the participants' base. So because they use different terminology and we're too lazy to do a dive and do a confirmation on what their verbiage was, we're gonna call into question.
Can we go back for a second and use the term non-vapor from now on?
Yeah. The results depicted no effect of vaping on the forced expiratory volume in 1 second, forced vital capacity, and FEV, FEV1, and FVC ratio. So that's the volumetric measurement of your exhalations and inhalations.
Okay, good.
Some studies also employed a mock vaping session in which either an e-cigarette without e-liquid or secondhand smoke was used.
What? What?
An e-cigarette without e-liquid? That's not a good idea, yo. You're going to be breathing in burnt cotton.
I kind of had some faith, and now I'm done.
Of note, most of the studies were conducted on smokers alone without a comparison group of non-smokers. Well, when we're comparing vaping, Kevin, to anything, it should always be compared to smoking.
Correct. They don't like that.
No.
I haven't found anybody that likes that yet.
So it would be beneficial to conduct future research on subgroups based on the level of smoking or vaping to enable a more accurate quantitative analysis.
Yeah, think.
So this was not really anything worth. I mean, technically, they gave us a headline that looked nice, right?
It did. It did look.
But then all they did was a Google search, essentially.
That was like legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah,
Janine went from California, now she's in Florida. Oh no, she's still in Palm Springs. Okay.
Palm Springs, California, you douchebag. That's where the Richie folks are, though, Kevin. You and I, we would not be allowed to go to Palm Springs.
Okay, we're not allowed in. We'd have to take Skip with us.
They'd say, before you can enter Palm Springs, you must provide your tax returns. To verify whether you are supposed to be here.
I don't think so.
You are undesirable.
Well, I was there before.
So it looks like Jerry Lee Lewis died as well, Kevin.
He did.
I have to get my photo album, but I have a picture of me and Jerry Lee when I was like 6 years old.
Yeah. I'm still mourning Tom Petty, so.
Well, he's already like worm food.
3 years, yeah. 3-4 years, yeah.
He's already started to get kind of ripe in his coffin. But since it has been a moment and a few people that were not here at the beginning of the show, including you, Kevin, arrived. I do want to show you what I worked on this afternoon for a little bit of time. Okay, right. So last week I played a clip from 1984, and the audio sucked and stuff, so I had to fix the audio, and I did some other things. So this is Brian King from the FDA giving a speech.
The question: how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
How did you do that? Never mind. I'll just give you something to do.
So for those of you that are fans of 1984,
double plus good.
So I did very little editing to the audio of that. I did cut out some interaction between him and another person. So he's now just speaking directly to you, the viewer. And he talks about pleasures that are unapproved. We will destroy them. So that you edited the way that I really didn't edit it though. I just took out the other guy's responses.
Yep.
And then I found video of him talking, and I was like, oh, I can fiddle with this, and I'm never going to get the lips to match up 100%. So I'll put it on some black jittery film. Y'all won't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to tweet that at Brian King. And the tobacco Center for Tobacco Products this evening, probably.
I think that's a great idea.
I found some video of you, Dr. King. See, I don't even like to call him Dr. King because there was a much greater man named Dr. King that every time I think Dr. King, I actually think of that guy, and I don't want to confuse the two.
Nope.
That would be wrong, Kevin. I'm just saying,
Yep.
Yeah.
I know.
But okay, so in the next step of the torture of the children's, Kevin.
Oh.
The torture of the we've talked about
I saw
searching kids. We've talked about
I didn't click on it, so I
spying on the kids. Here, this is a new one.
Pants down.
And I actually halfway support this, but I just know it's not going to work. It's not going to go anywhere. But anyway, this is from Waukesha.
Mm-hmm.
Waukesha County, the Freeman. And it says here, fine for students vaping. Having nicotine jumps from $155 to $565.
I say why not? Karen will run out of money eventually.
It says, the author of this is Karen, by the way, Karen Pilarski.
Well, maybe she's going to pay. I don't know.
Yeah. So it says here, fine for students vaping. Having nicotine jumps from 155 to 565. Police say increase is to create a deterrent. So the police, so this is a city ordinance. If your kids are walking down the street, the cops are going to jump out of their car and say 5-0, and they're going to say freeze.
Put your cigarette, put your vape.
Empty out your pockets. You got a vape stick in there? You got. And
it's not even in the school now.
We're going to have advertisements for Coach purses here.
I think your wife would like one.
My wife has like 20 Coach purses already. Coach is now beneath her, by the way. Coach was her first like designer bag. That was like her when she tested the waters. Now she's into like Louis Vuitton and Burberry's and much higher priced items than that. But there's Omicidal's frock. He should have this pink one right here. This is the one. So anyway, there's a stock picture of a girl with a jewel with a fancy wrap on it.
Who's like 30 now.
Some really bad glitter fingernail polish that's been flaked off and stuff. This is girl, if you're gonna get your picture taken for the newspaper, you should do it up. Get your nails done, maybe put some makeup on, some base to cover up your acne scars. I'm just saying, Anywho, so this is from Muskego. The city has increased the fine for students possessing vaping or nicotine products from $155 to $565, which started on Wednesday. Police Lieutenant Andrew Krause said they found the number of vaping incidents at Muskego High School has risen over the past couple years.
This should be very profitable then.
Yeah. Krause said many students who were fined previously would cut a check or their parents would pay or they would opt to do community service. I'd say the vast majority of times the parents would pay.
Yes.
Students with jobs can come up with $155. They are pretty sneaky about getting in a few hits on the vape pen, he said.
They got to do with the money, but all right.
Yeah. A lot of times they are going into the bathroom and a staff member will see the vapor coming out over the stalls. Y'all, we need to teach these kids how to stealth vape. I'm just saying.
And smoke rises, vape doesn't unless you push it up.
Well, unless you... Anyway, there are ways around it. Blow it down between your legs. It'll go into the water. If you're sitting down. A lot of times they're going into the bathroom and a staff member will see vapor coming over the stalls. We will get tips from other students sometimes. Oh, loose lips sink ships, or snitches get stitches, bitches. There are vape detectors in select bathrooms in the school since cameras are not allowed inside the facilities. Damn straight, you better not be putting fucking pervy motherfucker. Anyway, Krause said that they can narrow down who the students are by looking at surveillance videos of who's entered the bathrooms. The school gets an alert on a smoke alarm indicating the presence of vaping. We have a couple of kids tamper with those as well. Now, you saw the bill last week, Kevin, for that one school district. It's like
280,000, I think, or 240.
No, it was millions. It was millions. I can go back and find it if you want. We have a couple of kids tamper with those as well. The big question is not why students are into vaping, but how they are getting the products, Krause. Okay, fine. That's good. Police are looking at businesses who are selling to minors. Fine. Bust their asses, motherfuckers. Yep. We recently went around to all the businesses that sell these and put them on notice that it is not acceptable.
Well, that's good.
If you caught them selling to kids, you shouldn't even give them a warning. You shouldn't put them on notice. You should put them on some bracelets and put them in the back seat of your car. We are actively engaged in trying to prevent that. Another issue is that some of the vaping products contain THC or CBD. The school research officer has field kits to test the vape juice for those ingredients. When such vaping products are opened, they have a sweet and sticky odor. All of them have a sweet odor unless you're vaping ass.
The school resource officer is now a chemist.
If that happens, these kids face additional penalties for possession of THC.
Good.
Yes. And then you should go find out who sold them that, and that you should attest. You should get them for selling drugs to minors. Where is Waukesha? Is that in like Wisconsin or something?
Probably.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I was thinking Muskogee when you started, but I don't know.
No, that's That's Okie.
Maybe it's Oklahoma. I don't know.
No, it's not Oklahoma. Waukesha's got to be one
Sounds
of
like
those
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin places.
Every
Anyway.
time this is brought up, but by the way, just so that those of you who don't know, Tobacco Free Kids does not like fining children.
Well, fuck them.
And
So, Troop confirms that it is Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The vaping market has increased to hundreds of companies selling nicotine juices in various flavors. Yo, guys, if I catch any one of you, and that's you people that are in the chat room right now, ever refer to e-liquid as juice,
are you going to mute him?
fruity nicotine juice. No.
Why?
Anyhow. Nicotine, fruity flavored. Okay. The vaping problem hit a new high in 2018 when Juul's high nicotine, fruity flavored cartridges quickly became a huge craze among middle and high school students, according to the Associated Press.
So illegal use went up.
Kraus, he's probably German. He's probably a Kraut. Kraus the Kraut. Anyway, Kraus said there were still places selling different flavored products to attract teens. Maybe they want to attract smokers, and some of those might be teens. He's thankful there haven't been any serious injuries with vaping recently. Kraus said that when you are 15 or 16 years old, you think you are indestructible. 2 years ago, a student found out that is false. About 2 years ago, we had a kid had to be transported by ambulance from high school over smoking a vape.
Yeah,
he had to be in ICU for a couple days. Who is responsible? Mom and dad. Oh, anyway, the police department posted the fine announcement on Facebook and racked up over 200 comments. Many people said it was the parents' responsibility to make sure their kids don't vape. Those people are correct.
Parenting is an action verb.
And then here's a quote. "You are all ridiculous!" Exclamation mark. "How about parents taking control of their children and enforcing the rules!" Exclamation point. Vaping can be worse health-wise than cigarettes. No, it cannot. There was no exclamation point there. If you care about your children, you'll have no problem with this! Exclamation point. So they're saying no problem with the $500 fine. Then there's another quote. "Don't they still teach a class on the dangers of smoking? I was I was taught that in 7th grade, period, and had a cousin lose a leg to nicotine." What?
Documentation, please.
Lose a leg to nicotine?
I don't think so.
Not to mention the heart conditions / lung conditions, etc., that it caused. A person posted. I need to find out who a person is. We should go to the Waukesha Facebook and see if we can find it. That's a fucking nicotine snake bite.
Well, it's brain worms, probably. I guess that might be the.
Has any of you guys lost your toes or foot or leg to nicotine?
I have a third ear back here. It's not. Nobody cares about my third ear.
No, my third leg is even quite healthy. I'm just saying. Kraus said parents were normally cooperative with police. Police and the school are always communicating with parents to let them know what is going on. For example, asking for consent to search a student's backpack if something is suspicious. Agreed. Yes.
Police.
You should definitely, if you're going to search a student's backpack, you should definitely ask permission from the parents.
Have permission.
Now, if you're going to take them down to their underwear, you should also ask. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I know that video that we have. I have a video.
Yes, we do.
I have video. That guy says that the school doesn't have to have permission to strip search their kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. Anyway, that was also in Wisconsin, wasn't it? There are a few comments on the police's Facebook page post accusing the department of trying to generate revenue with an increased fine. Krause said that that is false. The fine is used as a deterrent. The fines are not set by the police department, but voted on by the Common Council. We looked at what other municipalities are doing, such as Brookfield, New Berlin, and Franklin, he said. Muskego Mayor Rick Petfalski posted on his official Facebook page, while the increase in the maximum fine from $155 to $565 may seem excessive, the current penalties are not having the desired effect. That's because mommy and daddy are doing it instead of making the fucking kids do it.
James
Don't
Charles.
bring nicotine and vape products to school.
Tobacco's okay. You can bring in cigarettes.
When issued a ticket for this offense and convicted, the individual has many options. Some of those options are 1, pay the fine, 2, community service, 3, attend awareness classes, etc. I would argue that the first one would have the least impact on his behavior, especially if the parents pay the fine. However, with the increased fine, many minors and parents may think twice about just paying the fine. Hopefully, by performing community service, these kids might think twice about bringing these products to school. Here's the best option. Don't break both school policy and the law, and you won't have to worry about the amount of the fine, Petfalski said.
My gosh. My goodness. Look at that. Did you see James came in?
He's in the room that I'm ignoring because he's on
Facebook.
Facebook.
That's right. I was so proud too.
Yeah.
So
I have a zero tolerance policy for Facebook.
I have zero tolerance policy for parents not parenting. And then after that, you take the kid's lunch money away from him for a while and he'll be hungry. I guess. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know. It's funny we don't know where these surveys are done and then they extrapolate the numbers.
We don't know what's in them. We don't know what's in them, Kevin.
Well, yeah, that too.
We
don't know a lot.
I know lots of things, but I just don't know what's in them.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you got him upset. Look.
He cries all the time. He's a little bitch.
No, he's not. Did you see what happened in Columbus?
He's an Ohioan. He's an Ohioan.
Oh, now you got Michael.
There's another Ohioan. We've been at least that Ohioan made it into the right place.
I think there's more Ohioans than there are Kiwis at the moment. Goodness. So in Columbus, there was a meeting and they didn't let.
Is Ohio like our prison colony? Is Australia is like a prison colony?
In Columbus, they let like 2 people in and all the rest.
I know, and they weren't vaping people; they were anti-vaping people.
Huh?
I'm surprised that anyone is surprised. I'm literally surprised that anyone is surprised.
Mike, that's not politically correct. Now they can still smoke weed and being little shits, and that's okay.
I had a video talking about little shits in school, but then I realized it was I didn't it was a TikTok video.
Was it relevant?
It's up and down, and it's just basically saying the kids today are whiny little bitches. So I didn't add it to the show tonight, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
I did send it to you though, so that you could watch it.
All right, I will.
Yeah. So, now we have another video, Kevin.
Not us, them. You have another video. I'm ready.
Let me go find it. I hid it on my hard drive, but I do have an idea of where it's at.
And for the record, Logan put Post-it notes on my ears and nose today, just so you know.
Well,
he was having a good time.
Good boy.
I'm pretty proud of him.
Yeah.
Mike wants to know when the flying fuck did we start this politically correct stuff?
Never. I don't know what the hell Kevin's talking about half the time. Yeah, here we go. So I want you to watch this video, Kevin, and give me your. Now, if you need me to pause, just let me know, and make sure that you guys let me know right away if there's sound. But I am sharing this in a different way, so it should work. So anyway, let's play it.
Among one particular group, young adult women. The report from America's Health Rankings says that women in West Virginia between the ages of 18 and 44 have seen a 77% rise in vaping. The director of lung cancer screening at WVU Medicine Wheeling Hospital says that vaping is not any healthier than tobacco.
Really? What was his fucking name?
Now, this is West Virginia, but I was born in West Virginia, so I know that some people there could be smart.
Robert Heron, a thoracic surgeon, says that the chemicals in vape solutions are known to cause not only lung cancer, but gastrointestinal cancers as well.
Really? So, some of the now, you guys, did any of you guys get gastrointestinal cancers or lung cancers?
Not yet.
Well, maybe some people in West Virginia are sticking it up their ass.
That could be.
Along with COPD and emphysema.
No smoking is good smoking. There's some contradictory reports that suggest that e-cigarettes or vaping may actually be safer, or if you're trying to quit cigarettes. However, we take the firm stance that no smoking is good smoking. You don't want your lung exposed to any foreign chemicals, whether they come from tobacco, cigarette, or a vaping device.
Dr. Heron says if you already smoke or vape, the best choice is to quit, and if you don't smoke or vape, don't start. The report also shows that in West Virginia, there's a high prevalence of, quote, frequent mental distress among young women, as well as a high prevalence.
Oh, dear Lord. So I'm going to pull that back here a little bit. So they're saying that women are hysterical and over-emotional. I mean, listen to that again.
Young women, as well as a high prevalence of adverse childhood experiences.
Oh, I didn't go back far enough. Let's go back far enough.
Double plus.
Prevalence of, quote, frequent mental distress among young
mental distress, ladies.
Women, as well as a high prevalence of adverse childhood experiences.
Right.
So vaping causes lung and ass cancer, apparently.
Yeah. Well,
they're upset that West Virginian women are not smoking.
Well, yeah.
So shame on them for not smoking anymore.
And calm down, ladies.
And women are hysterical and over emotional.
Christ. Calm down, little person.
Women in West Virginia apparently tend to have a bad experiences as young ladies or as children. So apparently there's a lot of molestation and
probably from doctors who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, it could be that they're OBG or whatever, the gyno guys are maybe filling them up or something. I don't know, but
they could. I don't know.
And I'm embarrassed because I was born in West Virginia. Now I did make it to the great state of Texas. But
via PA, right?
Well, I've lived in 19 different states before I got to Texas, Kevin.
That's because you're running from the law.
I mean, I was in 9 different elementary schools in the first 6 years in 9 different states. So,
and can we say that this encapsulates gaslighting and stigma all within 1 3-minute
all
clip?
in one little West Virginia hillbilly newscast,
making my head hurt. Y'all need to stop that shit. Just go back to the cigarettes and the chew. Elvis's grandmother chewed or snoozed or something.
Snuffed.
Was it snuff?
The powdered snuff.
She liked it. She did it. Mm-hmm. Nobody talks about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think she had any emotional issues.
Smokeless tobacco.
Stig formation. That's a good word, Skip.
All right.
I like
So
that.
now
these
jackasses in the chat room that
only the ones that are identifying
continuously trying to spoil the end of, or the parts of the show that we haven't got to yet.
Well,
I think I upset Bruni, or not Bruni, our very good friend that likes to throw the links in. I yelled at him for putting the link in. Addy,
he ain't scared of you.
I think I upset Addy because I think he left after I chastised him. I apologize. And then Skip did it too.
Skip ain't scared of you either.
Well, Addy didn't. I think Addy left. I think I hurt his feelings.
Oh.
I feel kind of bad about it, but I have show notes. And the correct link is actually in my show notes. It's actually in the text. I put it there. They're in order.
Sure.
So James Jarvis, the Ohioan, finally figured out how to come into the YouTube.
Congratulations.
Hello, James Jarvis.
You're welcome.
You get a gold star. There you go, Tiger.
We're going to see if we can get you into a Columbus meeting next week.
So anyway, there's this thing called the Reagan-Udall Foundation for the FDA. So they're an organization that was set up specifically to watchdog the FDA.
Is this a brand new organization?
No.
Foundation? See, I'd never
go over here to the About.
Where have they been all this time? Watching other
About.
shit?
Let's see if it says here. The Reagan-Udall Foundation for the FDA Administration is an independent 501c3 organization created by Congress to advance the mission of the FDA to modernize veterinary, food, food ingredient, and cosmetic product development, accelerate innovation and enhance product safety.
Good.
The foundation embodies FDA's vision of collaborative innovation to address regulatory science challenges of the 21st century and to assist in the creation of new applied scientific knowledge, tools, standards, and approaches the FDA needs to evaluate products more effectively, predictably, and efficiently, and therefore enhance the FDA's ability to protect and promote the health of the American public. The foundation serves as a crucial conduit between FDA and the public, providing a means for FDA to interact directly with stakeholders, including industry and consumers. The foundation does not participate in regulatory decision-making or offer advice to FDA on policy matters.
Well, who'd have thunk of this?
Yeah, so that's essentially what they are. So now if we scroll back, there is a portal. There's a portal that says Stakeholder Portal. So it says here, please share your input on certain components of FDA's tobacco program. Thank you for visiting the Stakeholder Portal for the operational review of certain components of FDA's tobacco program. The review focuses on regulations and guidance, application review, compliance and enforcement, and communication with the public and other stakeholders. The review does not address tobacco policy issues, which are outside the scope of this evaluation. To begin, simply click into the form below. An asterisk denotes required fields. Only your comments, unedited, and stakeholder group will be posted on this website. You have the option to provide input anonymously or complete the contact fields below. Please note, if provided, your name and affiliation will be shared with the expert panel and may be listed in the final report solely as a contributor, i.e., your comments will not be attributed to you. This portal will remain open until 11:59 p.m. Eastern on November the 7th of this year. So now there is a contact form. This looks very similar to regulations.gov. So I invite you, each and every one of you lovely people, to go here and to fill this out. Now, as a affiliation, that's not required. So you don't need to put that you are a CASA member or that, whatever. You don't have to do that. So you go down here to stakeholder group. This is a required field. It's got a little red star. You are a consumer or consumer advocate, or I could put that I am a harm reduction person or any of these, other than I am not an attorney. I don't work for FDA. I don't have a job in the industry, and I don't work in retail. And I am definitely not a member of the state, tribal, or territorial government. But pretty much any one of these are open. But I would suggest that as consumers, you identify yourself as consumers. And then blah, blah, blah. So then there's a place for your comments on regulations and guidance, application review, compliance and enforcement, communication with public and other stakeholders. And you have up to 2,000 characters in any one of or all of these fields.
It's like 12, 14 tweets. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you can tweets. 2,000 words, my friend. You're not limited.
Oh, words, not characters. Okay.
So I thought we would look at some of the comments that have already been put in here. So the first one is from the stakeholder group Harm Reduction. So it is labeled Harm Reduction. This is from the 28th, which is today, right? Yes, today at 8:59. So let's see. This is newer. This is one I have not previously read. This is from a harm reduction person.
Yep.
So it says, under the regulations and guidance header, it says the FDA's sole role is to manage and protect public health. The PMTA pathway for ENDS products was destined to fail from the beginning. We all agree that tobacco products are harmful, but every manufacturer should be given a chance to try and understand and comply with the PMTA process. As the PMTA pathway stands, it is blatantly obvious that a small vape shop who manufactures their own e-liquid doesn't stand a chance if some of the original ideas of bracketing and bundling flavors for testing are brought back. This country was built on the backs of small businesses. The FDA many times stated that they would make a pathway for small business, but to date, now I will dispute this, Kevin.
Yeah.
The FDA never officially released any guidance or anything that said this. Now, a person that works at FDA that has a position of power went on a TV interview or a radio interview and said that, but that is not an official statement from the FDA.
That was Azar talking out his ass.
Yes, that was. I mean, I know, and I think I already talked to James about this like 2 years ago when this first happened. This was never an official statement from FDA. FDA did not say this. But Alex Azar, said it in the radio interview, which is not an official statement from the FDA. But anyway, never did they actually say that, but it would have been nice. It wasn't many times. I believe it was just once. So, correct. Yeah. Every federal agency has to do an analysis. And at the time, I said it would be illegal for them to do that. The moment that FDA came out and said, we're going to give an easier pathway to these smaller businesses, right, the big tobacco companies would have slammed the FDA with a fucking army of attorneys. And it would have been thrown out immediately because it is not legal for you to have one set of rules for big companies and a smaller set of rules for smaller companies. It's just not there's no parity. It would not happen. It's not legal.
Night, Dave. Hello, Liana.
And it would never, ever have stood to a legal challenge, period.
No.
Every federal agency has to do an analysis when creating new rules or regulations that affect market entry or cost of complying for small businesses with these new rules or regulations. Yes, they did. Did the FDA do this? Yes.
Yes.
They released it exactly 2 days after the initial language of the deeming regulations was released in 2014. I have the listening session for the call-in show or the call-in thing that was allowed to happen. FDA admitted at the time they knew and fully expected 99.8% of the industry to go away. They said it then. I tell you that is the plan they've had from day one. It is the plan that they are standing by. That is what they expect. Yes, but the SBA Advocacy Office stated on many occasions that no small business could afford this process because FDA doesn't want to regulate small businesses.
Nope.
They don't have, they have 1,000 employees, Kevin. We've talked about this. The CTP has 1,000 employees in all of its areas of tobacco regulation. They have 1,000 employees. There is no fucking way they can regulate millions of products.
Nope.
Literally, if we added up, I think at one point there was 6 million products registered on the furrows. There's no way. They physically cannot do that. And you're going to find later on when I read some comments from actual FDA employees, they know they can't do it, and they're complaining that they are being murdered by their bosses because they're not able to do the job. They're saying that this process is not fair to the businesses, and there's no fucking way that we can process these applications by the deadlines that have been set for us.
Nope.
FDA employee in this, I'm going to read it. We're going to get there. Says that in their letter on this thing. What is this called? The Reagan-Udall Foundation. Yes, but I speak to many manufacturers daily, and as an industry, they are more than willing to comply, but there has to be a clear, defined, and attainable way forward with the FDA process for these small businesses. We should also look at the UK model for approval process. We all use the same ingredients in our. So there is testing that is required in the UK or in the EU model. So there is still a burden that would be done, and it would still be expensive because you're paying. The labs in the UK are not as expensive as the labs in the United States are, by the way. Science is more expensive in America. You didn't know that, right, Kevin? So application review. Let's see. I know there are many great people who work for the FDA CTP. I don't disagree, Kevin. I think that they're doing a job that they don't really want to do. But someone along the way, the lines got blurred. Was it a lack of not fully understanding how this industry works, or was it motivated by making sure that the FDA still received tobacco user fees off of more harmful products? That is all speculation. I have no doubts that FDA CDP is understaffed for this task. Yes. I have also never seen anything like this unfold before my eyes. The total lack of not completing a full review of the PMTA submitted by this blah, 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 is unacceptable for an agency that is supposed to follow the science. Now, I don't agree with this. The total lack of not completing a full review of the PMTA submitted by September 9, 2020, September 9, 2020, is unacceptable for an agency that is supposed to follow the science. If the FDA actually received I have to defend them here for a second, Kevin. None of the PMTAs that have submitted to the FDA are complete. None. Okay, I shouldn't say none. The vast majority of them do not have all of the necessary science, have not been completed.
Right.
So there's no way they could review and complete all of the applications by September 9, 2020, because the FDA, the applications were not even that were submitted were incomplete. Disagree with me, Kevin?
No, because the FDA didn't give them stipulations either.
Well, no, they wanted you to guess on what you were supposed to test.
Right, they didn't tell you what they wanted.
Well, no, they did.
Well,
they did. I mean,
vaguely.
there are actual PMTAs that are publicly available for you to look at for cigarettes.
Yeah.
If they had, if you had done you, and there was plenty of time for all these e-liquid people to do all of the same testing that was done for a cigarette PMTA.
Yeah,
you could have gotten it done. That would have cost a lot of fucking money,
right?
Because there's a lot of things, constituents that were tested for in a cigarette that are probably not appropriate for e-liquid.
Right.
But they did have a list if they went by that. And I know that Dimitri and his group kind of used that list as a roadmap when they were doing their initial labs.
Right. Unattainable goal, though.
Yeah. Here's the brass ring that you can't reach for. You know.
Right.
The FDA
and we're not going to tell you the rules until after the fact.
Yeah. But there, I mean, absolutely, there was no way. Even if every one of those PMTAs had been completed and submitted on there's no way with 1,000 employees. There's no way, even if they were following the science, there's no way they could have reviewed all those applications by that deadline. There's absolutely no way. Not that I'm again, I will defend some of that, but yeah, there's no way they could have reasonably hit that deadline reviewing 6 million applications by that deadline. But FDA didn't. Well, they did because they didn't. When the judge said, "How much time do you need for that last court case?" and they said, "Oh, 6 months." Yeah. So the FDA shot themselves in the foot. They should have said, "We need another 2 years, Judge."
At least.
Yeah. But no, 6 months. The FDA CTP began issuing MDOs that stated the same verbiage in August of 2021. It was apparent that the FDA did not even fully process the applications. This is not how a government agency operates. You cannot create an internal memo fatal flaw to deny all the applications at the last minute due to political pressure to show good processing statistics, blah, blah, blah. So again, fatal flaw is an absolutely valid method. And I predicted this was going to happen, Kevin. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
And people said I was an asshole and I didn't know what I was talking about.
Well,
some neckbeard that started a fucking compliance company that thinks that he's a rocket scientist, never finished fucking high school, but he told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. I said this was going to happen. They're going to find one flaw in every application and deny them all. I got kicked out of one of the groups because of that. And I'm like, it's logic based, yo. They're gonna create a bot that's gonna look for certain keywords that are there or not there, and they're gonna deny them all based on the fact that they didn't do this one thing, which is still a valid and legal way to do it. It's just that it's arbitrary and capricious, is what the judge said, right?
Yes.
But I still predicted it was going to happen, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And Dave predicted it, and
yeah, but he didn't specifically say exactly this. I love Dave. Don't get me wrong. Dave said the system was fixed from the beginning, which we all did. But I gave very specific prediction, man.
Yep.
Anyway, this is not how the government. This is exactly
how the government works.
I don't know if you've ever worked with the government, but this is exactly how they do it. Yes. I'm ready for I think, Kevin, I think we just made a mistake coming out of the forest. I think we should have just stayed in the trees.
Yeah.
And just, we should never have evolved. I think we would all be better off. We'd all be happier if we just were in the trees acting like monkeys.
Well, that's what I do in Logan's here.
I think when we became civilized, we lost something.
We kept our expectations way too high.
Yes. No, we thought that the world was going to be fair, Kevin.
No. Well,
having worked in government myself for many years, no. You can't possibly, whoever wrote this can't possibly have worked with the government or worked for the government, because he would have known all of this was going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
having worked in government myself for many years, I'm truly appalled that you would try to shutter an entire industry of small businesses from pressure from outside sources. Yeah, in the history of the United States has destroyed much larger industries than vaping, Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip the rest of this one, and I'm going to go to another comment, because this one is quite large, and I've already. So this one is an academic, and they posted it today at 5:19. Okay, so this one's much easier, much shorter. The FDA has not convened its own group of scientific advisors in nearly 4 years. This raises serious questions about transparency. I agree. If they haven't convened a meeting of their own scientific advisors in 4 years, yeah, they should be doing that. Let's scroll down.
Wow.
I think this is a repeat of the same one. This is the same exact timestamp, but let's check it out just in case. Oh, no, it's different. This one says, and this is from an academic, the Tobacco Control Act needs to be amended to reflect the current marketplace. At this point, the burden of proof for a product authorization for a non-combustible product is considerable. The PMTA and MRTP, that's Modified Risk Tobacco Product Pathway, did not specify a bar with clinical trials or longitudinal cohorts. Proof that e-cigarettes are effective for smoking cessation is appropriate if the product has been regulated under CDER. The bar is too high for a public health standard. Short and sweet, Kevin. Now, that is from an academic. Now, let's see. This is the third academic. Oh, no, that's the... okay, that's the one I just read. So let's go down to... 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth academic. This is from 205, and it's much longer. So let's see. Under regulations and guidance, Kevin, it says tobacco regulations should be developed through evidence-based regulatory impact analysis that include quantified estimates of the benefits and costs. The RIAs should be guided by President Clinton's and President Obama's executive orders 12866 and 13563, the Office of OMB, IRA. The RIA should be conducted by economic staff at the Office of Economics and Analysis in the Office of the Commissioner, which is the FDA's Center of Expertise and Benefit Cost Analysis. Based on the review of RIAs of FDA tobacco regulatory actions, I have identified 3 areas. This is a smart person. I have identified 3 areas that need improvement. 1, the analyses blur the distinction between whether a regulation improves public health or whether the regulation addresses a market failure as defined in economics. The analysis should quantify the relevant market failures addressed by product tobacco regulation and use strong empirical evidence from the market behavior. This is boring, Kevin. I'm not going to read this one.
It's way above my pay grade.
Let's see. Let's go under the application. Let's see if the pre-market tobacco application case-by-case process should be replaced by tobacco product standards issued through notice and comment rulemaking process. So they're saying instead of having a PMTA and be done case-by-case, they should just create product standards of manufacturing and just let her rip tater chip. The case-by-case PMTA process requires an enormous amount of FDA staff time. Tobacco product standards should achieve the same outcomes in terms of which tobacco products are allowed to be on the market. Tobacco product standard regulatory rulemaking would be subject to a high degree of analytical rigor in the regulatory impact analysis required by executive orders, blah, blah, blah. Transparency and stakeholder involvement is also much stronger in the notice and comment rulemaking process than in the PMTA process. For example, 175,000 public comments were submitted in response to the recent tobacco product standard on menthol, which is even smaller than the amount on the initial deeming.
Yeah.
That was we broke the Guinness Book of Record, or the record for the amount of comments ever.
Yeah.
On a what's the word I'm looking for, Kevin?
Public comment.
Yes. On a rulemaking. So I like this idea of having product standards created, manufacturing standards, improved ingredient list, whatever. That would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can use these ingredients. You can, your lab has to be inspected. I think that's completely understandable.
Welcome.
I think that's reasonable. Have a standard for how the thing is supposed to be manufactured, and let her rip tater chip. But this one says FDA staff.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an actual comment from an FDA staffer. This was posted today at 11:57 a.m.
Allegedly.
Well, it was submitted yesterday, the 27th at 5:22.
Yeah.
But it took at least it took a while for it to promulgate to the website. So anyway, and this is true, Kevin, that anybody could have gone in and said they were FDA staff. But let's just say this is accurate.
Who would want to?
Yeah. So it says here, I think CTP should be given more room to decide which regulations and guidance it'll push. CTP needs to be able to lay foundational rules, regulation, and guidance to better regulate tobacco. Powers outside of CTP are able to push rules back or keep them from going forward. There needs to be a way for CTP to have an autonomy, and here make the autonomy here and make these choices. It should not be inhibited by the commissioner. It should be helped. So he's saying that that Azar is inhibiting them.
The standard is cigarettes.
You would think. CTP is constantly working under impossible deadlines with review queues that no other center in the FDA have to deal with. The volume of applications it sees and products it regulates are astronomical in comparison, but we are not being given any protection, support, or leeway to handle this burden. Instead, it seems as if CTP and OS are blamed for having large queues or not making deadlines without anyone taking a look to see just how much work is being done to ensure that things are done as soon as humanely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Treating this center as the rest of the centers in terms of queues and timelines is unhelpful and encourages burnout. So we said there was something like 6 million applications on furrows.
Yep.
No other FDA department had that many applications to process in such a short amount of time. I would say that is true. That in such a short amount of time, there's no way FDA medicine or FDA drug is approving that many items, or even has that many applications in their queue.
No.
So let's see. So if CTP has made a pre-market decision, OCE should be allowed to enforce it. Here we go, Kevin. Hard work, thinking, and logic went into every pre-market decision, but it feels as if it goes out the window if it is not being enforced. We are working with a litigious and difficult to regulate industry, not being not being enforced, our decisions is not going to help the public. So they're saying is that the applications that they've denied, there's been no enforcement.
Yep.
So it makes it look like what's the point of us even doing our job if they're not even going to enforce the rules? So anyway, OS has a great system in place to ensure quality information is being communicated to the public. We have layers built into our review system to ensure that our science is sound and that we are communicating it directly and clearly. But we also don't have nearly as much coordination and communication with other offices as we should. All of our work relates to each other, and we should be coordinating more. So they're saying that they're not even coordinating amongst their own departments. So this guy says there's no fucking way we can process these applications in the amount of time that you're giving us, and it's not realistic for you to expect us to. So there's that. I'm not going to read the full thing, but it's good that they're actually putting these out here so that you can actually read them. So that one was this one. This one doesn't say who they are. Let's see what it says. It says, the TCA appears to have given an upper hand to the deadliest forms of tobacco products, i.e. combustible products. Unfortunately, it allows them to either be considered pre-existing tobacco products or avail themselves of the easiest pre-market pathways, substantial equivalency, blah, blah, blah. Has explicitly stated that the science supports the notion of a continuum of risk, that combustible products are the deadliest and non-combustible products appear to be nominally safer. Nevertheless, the CTP has elected to conduct a product-by-product pre-market review of new tobacco products. So any innovative product, such as an e-cigarette, would most likely have to undergo a more robust and burdensome pathway to market. For example, PMTA. Shouldn't CTP fully embrace a continuum of risk approach and prioritize the issue of product standards applicable to all tobacco products, such as a reduction of a harmful additive, constituent component, or ingredient that would ensure that the deadliest products allowed on the market by this unfortunate drafting, the blah, 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 would be pulled, and only safer forms of products would be allowed, assuming that they are authorized under. So I'm always thinking that people should be able to have choice, Kevin. So I would not support any regulation that would remove people from having the right to kill themselves.
Correct.
That is a right.
Hey, Michael.
So this is another FDA staffer. This is from 10/24 at 5:30. And it says CTP needs to work on foundational rules and issue such rules. Years ago, the commissioner made a decision to delay tobacco applications, which FDA lost the court battle. So CTP could issue foundational rules. CTP needs to work on issuing its foundational rules before setting on other major priorities, such as product standards. For example, this is specific. The Section 915 rule was supposed to issue in 2013 as required under the FD&C. It absolutely disappoints me that almost 10 years later that CTP has not even issued the draft rule for this regulation. While I have an appreciation of the staffing shortages and political environment of issuing the regulations, CTP has lost sight of the foundation it needs to be successful and have the foundation to then move onto the building blocks needed to protect the U.S. population from tobacco-related diseases. It seems that CTP does not have the staffing resources and has too many priorities. CTP needs to determine the foundational rules needed and ensure these can be enacted before focusing on other priorities. CTP is trying to do too many things in a very short period of time without the resources to be successful.
Too many Indians.
Yeah. The substantial equivalency and EX. I don't know what that EX program. I know what ESE is, but I don't know what that have overall been successful through these programs, having built over 10 years with their improvements over these years. Unfortunately, the PMTA has not been giving such luxury, including issuing the PMTA final regulation before applications were due. Personally, for the PMT, we need to keep the scientific decision making within OS, as we have more or less done for the SC and EX programs. Whether perceived or true, it seems that politics, Congress, Commissioner, OCD have been too influential in the scientific decision making of the sciences and proposed actions. The PMTA program is not the SE program, and such the standards of evaluation should be different. My recommendation would be have an extra barrier of isolation to prevent such influences. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Yeah. So anyway, some of these comments are better than others and more entertaining to read for sure.
Is X the ex-smoker program, like their quit line thing that they got? Maybe,
I don't know. They're talking about application pathways, Kevin.
Okay.
So SE is one. That's the substantial equivalency. Right, and then we have MRTP, which is modified risk. But I don't know what EX is.
No.
So then there's the harm reductionist. Now, this is also long. This is probably written by somebody that's within our group. AIMSA was, Steve, AIMSA did have e-liquid standards. They approached FDA about working with them to create product manufacturing and ingredient standards. And I'm very good friends with some of the biggest players in AIMSA at the time. Shell Hamill was a member of AIMSA, and she was a smart lady, or is a smart lady. I shouldn't say was. She's still with us. But AIMSA was a failure because it was too expensive. The membership was too expensive. Nobody was going to join it because it was too expensive for a lot of small companies. And the point of AIMSA is everybody, it has to be cheap enough, not the product standards themselves, just the membership of AIMSA was too expensive for most of the small players. So they were never going to get mass recruitment because it was pricey. So they did publish their standards free of charge, and you could be AIMSA compliant without being a member of AIMSA, which was fine. But everybody disagreed. And back in 16, 17, and 18, I was seeing all these e-liquid guys talking about ISO 7000s and going with like super, like even above AIMSA standards for their labs. And I was like, yo, FDA hasn't even talked about that. Why are you jumping the gun? What if you spend $100,000 on your lab and the standard is only the $50,000 lab? Why are you doing that? But there were a lot of guys that were even going well above and beyond those. So I know that there should be standards, and that would have been the easiest thing, is to have the flavor manufacturers submit their CAS numbers and some science and say, this is our flavorings. We want to get our flavoring additives approved by FDA for use as a vaping ingredient. Once they promulgated a list of those ingredients that the FDA has approved, they should have said to manufacturers, this is the quality. These are the ingredients that you can use from these manufacturers. They have been given the FDA stamp of approval. Your lab must be inspected every 6 weeks by an FDA inspector to maintain your credential, whatever level that is. Here's our standards. Build your lab to this, and our guy's going to come out and inspect and say whether or not you meet our standards. These are the approved nicotine suppliers and the quality level of nicotine that we will allow. These are the nicotine levels that you are only allowed to manufacture, up to 50 milligrams if you want, whatever. These are what we've decided you can manufacture. Go.
Yep.
And, I think that would have been fine. But a lot of the flavoring manufacturers didn't even want to play that fair, Kevin. A lot of them refused to be put into the master list of ingredients.
I'll read the book when it comes out. I'm sure I'm going to know.
Yeah,
or books. I'm encouraging more than
I
one.
don't want to write a whole fucking book. I just want chapters. I can paint some targets on some fools, man.
Well, it's sad. I probably am like one desk away from knowing it all, but I don't know if I want to.
If you truly wanted to know all of the bad stuff, Kevin,
I can make 3 phone calls. I know.
there would be some people that you think are like saints. I don't know that I necessarily want to tell you everything, because there are some people that you look up to that if I told you what I know about them, you would it would ruin your,
ruin my existence.
Not well, yeah, maybe, or at least it would ruin your notions of that person.
And
I don't know that I want to do that. I don't. But I got some dirt on some people that would curl your toes.
Yeah.
I'm looking over here at the comments in the Facebook chat just by themselves, because James is the only one that's been in there.
It's over here now.
He's over here, I know. But I'm just if you just look at them and you don't know what we were talking about at the time.
Yeah. Poor James.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Kevin, I didn't make you too mad today.
No.
I didn't.
Others have succeeded in that for you.
Yeah. James is okay. I don't know that I love him or not. I have seen him cry on more than one occasion, though. That did bring joy to me.
That's passion. That's all that is. Skip would have made you cry, so don't get.
No, she would have just slit my throat. I wouldn't have had time. She would have snuck up behind me like a ninja.
Yes, Skip, we do love.
She would have done a Beatrix Kiddo on me. Let's see if anybody gets that reference.
What you having for supper tonight, Patrick? Oh.
No. I make plenty of other people cry, Skip. I myself, I don't cry. Now, if I had a dog and it died, that would be one of the things that makes me cry. But
yeah,
no.
Yeah. All those people got to meet you, Skip. That's what I wanted.
They're like, that's the grumpy old broad.
Well, cranky old.
Oh, I think grumpy is less
moody as well. I heard moody recently. I can't confirm or deny, but moody at best.
Yeah. So let's see if I can. I was kind of hoping that Nancy Pelosi would have video cameras in her house and we would actually get footage of her husband getting hit in the head with a hammer.
She's busy buying ice cream, Patrick. She can't afford cameras. Come on.
Well, apparently the guy that went in. No, this is going. I'm predicting this, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm sure other people have already predicted this one, so this is not too crazy. But I fully expect that tomorrow on the news because they already apprehended the fella.
Oh, did they?
Yes, when the police arrived on the scene, he was there.
Well, Raja was hoping that. He was hoping justice would occur.
But he didn't suicide by cops.
Huh.
He did not suicide by cop. But apparently he was muttering that he was waiting on Nancy.
To get her or to get paid?
Well, apparently, I mean, he might have been paid to say, "Where's Nancy? I'm waiting for Nancy." But Nancy was in Washington, D.C.
Skip sent me.
So
I got the wrong house.
So, this is an 82-year-old man,
right? How much of a challenge? Right?
We're making light of the event, but no, it is not cool to hit an old man in the head with a fucking hammer, yo.
No skull cracking, people.
There is no
We don't endorse it.
There is no excuse for hitting an old man in the head with a hammer. Just to be clear, especially if you're using the flat end, because we all know that the claw end would work better. But
brush up.
We will try to satirize the event to entertain and inform. But yes, apparently the guy was in the house when the popo arrived.
No alarm system, no nothing.
The old man called 911.
Yeah.
There was something about a silent alarm in one of the stories that I was reading, but
I try to stay away from it.
This is the third most powerful person. This is the third person in line for the presidency.
Right.
So, president, vice president, speaker of the House, president pro tem. That's how it goes. That's the pecking order.
Yeah.
So you're telling me,
right,
that a man off the street can just wander into the home place of the third most powerful person in the United States, or at least legislatively the third most powerful,
freely.
Just walk right into the house, pull out a hammer, and start clocking an old man in the head with a hammer.
The hammer, so, the choice seems awfully strange, but
well, that might have been what he had in his car when he got out, when he got the crazy idea to go into, Nancy Pelosi's house and start hitting people with a,
Maybe there was no money up front. I don't know.
He did break in, yes. I'm not saying that he didn't break in, Skip, but he somehow got into the house without. I have window alarms on my house. If you break the glass or you open the window, it sets off the alarm. And I'm not the third most powerful person in the country.
You're fourth or fifth, right?
Still, I'm way down the list, Kevin.
Way down the list.
But I still have a security alarm in my little house. I'm not the Speaker of the House. The old man took a couple blows to the head. Apparently something distracted the assaulter. He got on his cell phone and called 911 to alert the police before the guy came back to start hitting him again.
Oh, yeah.
The guy was there when the cops arrived. He said, I'm here for Nancy. I'm waiting for Nancy. So
chocolate.
To keep it a buck, her house has been breached many times over the years. So you're saying if somebody breaks into my house once, I'm going to make it so that it can't happen again. I'm not going to put like chocolate around the door. I'm going to put something more substantial around the doors and windows to make sure that bad people can't come into my house.
We'll all know it's Chris because he'll be in the corner eating M&Ms.
No, anyway, going back to my prediction, Kevin.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on the news, they're going to say that this was a pro-Trump guy.
Yeah.
That has posted all over his social media racist, Trumpian stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not going to mention the fact that there's probably also other posts on there that indicate that he is mentally ill. They're going to ignore that, but they're going to specifically focus on this is a Trump supporter.
I'm still keen
that Trump. He dreams about Trump at night, and Trump told him in his dreams to go hit Nancy in the head with a hammer.
or collect money from Nancy when she got home.
But I gotta say that if this is true, Chris, and I know that you're a Californian and that you voted for Nancy, I know these things, that you're saying that her house has been breached many times over the years. Maybe that's why she stays in Washington, D.C. and leaves her poor 82-year-old husband at home by himself.
Well, he's got his ice cream and booze. He's not completely alone.
Well, no, apparently he still has the keys to the car because he had the booze and the drinking in the car all at one time and, had to plead guilty to a DUI.
Now I'm starting to get nervous and I want to check on Mark again.
Now, what I'm worried about here is the fact that if he already had a DUI, in Texas, if you get a DUI, you don't get to drive no more.
Good.
They take your driver's license away.
Do they do it with the exception of work and school and crap, or do they actually just take it away?
No, the bread and butter license, you have to earn that bitch. You don't get it right away.
All right.
My earbuds are dead.
Work with Skip's cussing. You know she is.
So we need to go and make sure that Skip doesn't have a hammer in her nightstand for when Mark comes home.
Or in her suitcase when she comes to see you. Spending the night. Okay, Skip, welcome to my home. Now go through the metal detector.
And just stand here, spread your legs. I pull out the wand.
Tire iron. Well, we'd have to confiscate all chocolate from Chris.
Kevin, here. I have a conundrum. Because Halloween is Monday.
I know. I can't wait.
And I have not yet purchased things to hand out.
We'll hand out some Funko Pop thingies.
No.
Put them in a bag.
I asked the ladies at work, and I got two conflicting responses. All now, one of the ladies that I work with, it was three ladies. One of the ladies has no kids.
Yeah.
The other one has kids, but she is a religion that doesn't allow. They don't have holidays. I think it's
okay.
I think it's the Jehovah's Witness. They don't have holidays.
Yeah.
And then the other lady is a grandmother. She has kids and grandkids. So I said to them, I have a conundrum. I have to go to the store, and I'm trying to decide, should I buy, because last year I didn't buy any candy. I turned the light off, but the fucking brat still rang the doorbell anyway.
I would have. Just to piss you off.
When I was a kid, it was a rule. No. If the porch light was not on, you don't ring their doorbells because they're not doing trick or treating.
Chocolate is way too important to skip a house with the light off. You might have forgot to turn it on.
I went to these ladies at work and I said, I have a conundrum. Now, do I get candy? Or do I just leave the porch light off? Or do I go buy a bag of apples?
Chris, quit sucking up.
So
apples.
So the woman that has no kids, she said the apples would be a good idea.
Of course.
Now the young lady that doesn't observe holidays said, just turn your light off. That's what we do.
And grandma.
And then the old lady in the back room, she's hearing this whole conversation, and I'm like, well, do you think, I said, if I had candy or apples, which one do you think the kids would like? Well, again, the woman that has no kids said, oh, I think apples are great. And then about that moment, there comes this voice from the adjacent office.
Yeah.
That says, do you want to get your house egged? She said, you're an idiot if you give apples. They're going to toilet paper your house and egg your house. So I guess I have to go get candy, but then I'm stuck with the conundrum of, do I get blow pops?
Yeah, sweet tarts.
Or Tootsie Roll Pops, because I know those are Chris's favorites.
Yeah, he's going to vote.
Or do I get like just a mixed bag of chocolate candy bars?
I got 4 different kinds.
I like suckers myself, but Yeah,
I'm going to eat the chocolate though. They don't get that much.
No, if I get the Reese cup, the Reese's bag, that fucker's not even getting open. I'm just going to turn the porch light off and keep it here in my office for myself.
Yep.
But yes, I know that Chris is a big Tootsie Roll fan, so he's probably all about the Tootsie Pops.
You're probably knocking kids over to get to it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except Skip.
So, So we have we apparently Twitter is now owned by Elon Musk. Is that accurate?
That's what that's do tell. Yeah.
I'm just wondering because I haven't seen anything yet.
I wonder if he'll make sure we're not bots anymore.
I did see that he apparently fired the top dogs. The top dogs of Twitter. Apparently he fired them, and he fired a lot of the people that were in charge of content mediation or whatever that. So, I'm seeing a whole lot of people saying horrible things about Elon Musk and that they're leaving Twitter. And this is a perfect example. I'm going to show this tweet. Let me present this. Now my headphones died, so I can't really share any video files anymore because there will be echo and y'all will bitch and moan. But here, let's do this. So this is from a celebrity. She's a blue check mark.
Oh boy.
And I know who this person is. This is a Star Trek actress, Marina Sirtis. She played Counselor Troy.
Yeah.
So it says here, I'm sorry, but I cannot be a part of anything owned by Elon Musk and his cabal of deplorables. I'll stay on for a couple days so that we can say goodbye. But after that, I'm gone.
I don't want to be here, but I'm going to stay a couple days.
After that, I'm gone.
Oh my God. Let's check back.
So then down here, which I think is funny. So somebody else is checking the receipts and doing all the background work. But apparently on June 1st of 2017, she says, I'm buying a Tesla.
Twit. I don't even care where she is and who she is.
Here we go, boys and girls. Regardless of what part of what aisle you're standing on, I didn't leave Twitter when people I politically didn't agree with owned it. Because why in the hell would I let them drive me away?
I don't think Rosie O'Donnell's left the country yet. So
if you want me to leave your platform because I disagree with you politically, you're going to have to make me go away.
You'll remove me. Well, I just want to wait a couple days. So
if you're a coward and want to run away to Parler, if you're a Trump supporter because Twitter hurt your feelings, or if you're some sort of, super liberal SJW that now wants to leave Twitter because Elon Musk owns it and you don't like Elon because he doesn't agree with you politically, then you're all spineless little shits.
This concludes our spineless little shit portion of our show.
And that goes for all of the people that are like, I'm going to move to Canada if this person gets elected. You stay and fight, you little shit. If I was in the Ukraine, if I was a Ukrainian, Kevin.
Yeah.
And Putin invaded my hometown.
Yeah.
And I disagreed with him, I'm going to stand and fight.
You rebel.
I'm not going to turn tail and run.
But Patrick, why would you say, I'm going to stay a couple of days? You're so set against this.
I'm going to stay a couple of days so that I can say goodbye.
It's like giving Chris a bowl of chocolate. Well, I don't want to eat it all, but I'm gonna.
I'm gonna leave, but not right away because I want to make sure that you all know how mad I am.
You do not, Chris.
I am so mad because Elon.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I don't understand. My uncle used to do it. I don't think they could verbalize why they don't like Elon Musk anyway, mostly. So I don't understand.
Because
that.
Apparently,
yeah,
Elon Musk is a free speech advocate who may or may not have voted for Trump. I don't know politically, But he said publicly that he felt like they should never have kicked Trump off of the platform.
I think
that Twitter has a large number of people that if you say something that people don't like, that you are evil and must be removed from the being able to say things that you believe in.
What happened to just being accused of being a bot? What happened to the good old days?
So Gina Carano got fired off of Star Wars because she said she shared a tweet that offended some people.
We'll give her a couple days, will you? At least.
Well, I mean, she got fired from Star Wars 2 years ago for sharing a tweet because she was comparing the treatment of the Jews in Germany during World War II prior to the Holocaust, not the actual Holocaust, but the way that neighbor turned against neighbor. And we read a story earlier of kids dropping a dime on other kids.
Yes.
That in Germany, that's how the Nazis got so much power, and how they rounded up the Jews so easily was that people were telling on their neighbors.
Yes.
And that's exactly what she was comparing. She didn't even write it. She shared a tweet that said it.
So
somebody else that said that basically the way that conservatives are being treated on social media is similar to the way the Jews were treated in Germany prior to the Holocaust.
So she used her freedom of speech to share something.
She didn't even write it. She just shared it.
Right. She shared.
And then she pissed off a bunch of people because the trendy thing, I guess is still trendy, in your profile is to list your preferred pronouns.
Yeah, it's not my preferred.
In a way for her to respond in a sarcastic way, she put her pronouns were boop 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 or boop beep boop because she thought it was a stupid thing, and I also think it's a stupid thing, but
So she likes freedom of choice.
Right. So, for example, Kevin,
I'm confused.
If you were a slightly feminine man,
okay,
some people looked at and couldn't tell exactly what you were. If they accidentally said he to you or called you sir or whatever, you would be offended and say, no, I'm a man, or no, yes, I'm a man, or no, I'm a woman. And that would be the end of it.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But no. Apparently, it is an act of violence to accidentally misgender somebody.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Or to actually call somebody who is a man that wants to be a woman, that is apparently very visibly a man.
I didn't know that.
What you want to be called does not mean. I mean, I'm trying not to offend people, Kevin, because I know that some people might have a different opinion. But if you have a different opinion, that's perfectly fine, because we live in a free country and you should be allowed to have any fucking opinion that you want.
Well, my opinion is,
but your opinion has no weight
on yours.
Well, your opinion has all of the weight in the world to you.
Here's what I'm thinking.
In my opinion, is way more important than your opinion. But again, you probably think that your opinion is more important than my opinion. And
I don't really have an opinion. I just have a statement. I'm leaving the show, but give me a couple years. I'm tired of you.
You're leaving the platform? I'm going to take a couple years to say goodbye. I really love you all on Twitter.
I'm giving a 6-year notice.
But here's my 5-year notice.
I'm done with you. Oh my God.
Ay, Dios mío.
he, she, we, they. I just don't get out enough. I guess.
Oh, look at this. All right. See, here's another one. This is the type of idiot that we have. This is a PhD. It says Anne Leslie, Anne Leslie, and I don't know if this is an actual. I have an idea that this is probably a satire profile. It says Anne Leslie, PhD, she, her, with a rainbow.
All right.
And it says, I'm preparing to sue Elon Musk for emotional damages.
I'm hoping that's satire.
So I'm going to go over here to read her profile.
All right. Head of.
Yeah, this, what is this? I'm going to read it. Is that a real universe? America's most diverse and equitable education institute, rated #1 in gender ethics and trans inclusive athlete. Yeah, this is definitely a fucking parody account. But
yay!
But this is, I mean, she is a head of gender studies at ACL University, author of Anti-Racist Fetus. She's 1/8 black, semi-trans, neurodivergent lesbian who dates men.
Wow.
So
okay.
yeah.
All
So
right.
that, I think that might be a parody account, but you know, there are, Rob Reiner. You remember Meathead?
Oh, I remember you.
You remember Meathead? So Rob Reiner has been on a rip. Let's look him up real quick before we go.
Spinal Tap. And...
Yeah, I've enjoyed some of his entertainments. I will say that.
Wonderful things. He's a dumbass, but that's wonderful.
So let's look at him. Let's look at his most recent. So, obviously, so now this is about the Pelosi hammer.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump has been spreading the big lie for 2 years. The violent assault on Paul Pelosi and the attempt to murder Speaker Pelosi is directly related to that lie. Donald Trump is 100% responsible for this in January 6th. He must be indicted and never be allowed to hold office.
Okay.
So my prediction has already come true. I predicted that they were going to pin this on the yellow or the orange orangutan, and they already did.
Oh my God.
So apparently there's a rumor that Donald Trump is going to get his Twitter account back.
Oh my God.
So rumor has it that one sociopathic, pathologically lying, criminal, racist, misogynist, fascist is returning to this platform. Let's celebrate by drowning him with a blue wave. Nah, that's not going to happen.
I guess Rob's going to stay with us for a while. He
Now,
mentioned leaving.
I am not going to be evil enough to actually play the Fetterman Dr. Oz debate from the other night.
Oh God, I didn't see it.
I'm going to remove this from the screen. So John Fetterman is running for Senate or Congress. Senate for PA. Now, during the primaries, apparently the day before or 2 days before the Democratic primary, he had a stroke.
Oh.
So physically, he looks like he's recovered okay, physically, but he has some aphasia, some expressive aphasia.
Yeah.
So that is definitely causing him to talk like a caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that does also affect cognitive processing. As a neurotherapist, I will tell you, if there's expressive aphasia, there's also a development. There's a delay in the part of the brain that processes thought and language, and comprehension. But this guy is still running, and as of the other day, I don't know right now, but as of the other day, he was still slightly ahead of Dr. Oz in the polls. This is a guy that's had a massive stroke that is definitely, his doctor apparently signed a letter saying that he could go to school. I mean, that he could go.
Yeah.
So his doctor provided no medical documentation that said that he's capable of doing this job, but did indeed send a letter saying that he, in his medical opinion, can be a senator.
Yeah.
So either that means that a senator can have brain damage and still be senator and still do his job, or the doctor is a liar.
We have proof of some of that already.
But as a therapist who specializes in neuro rehab and stroke recovery and spinal cord and brain injury, I will tell you there is a direct correlation between the language center of the brain and comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
This man may not be able to, I won't say can't, but odds are cannot read a complex document like a bill and comprehend what the bill actually says.
Right.
That does not mean that I'm a supporter of Dr. Oz either. That guy's a fucking tool as well. But I mean, we've played video of that moron talking about how little nicotine, a small amount of nicotine can kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not even go there. But of the two, at least you've got one guy who has the capability of using all of his mental faculties and one that may not.
Right.
But the actual debate is horrific. It's only an hour long and it is on YouTube. I invite you in your leisure, especially if you live in Pennsylvania or have family in Pennsylvania, to go watch that debate, because you will see exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to detailed comprehension and expressing himself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Paul's in the room.
Now, Paul's already late. We already talked about people losing their leg from nicotine and all sorts of stuff.
We made James cry.
Yeah, dude. Cry baby. But
we called Skip an old broad.
We should have stayed in the fucking trees.
Yeah, well, he offered a banana. Ed. My God, your parole officer is very lenient.
This is, well, I mean, he is in, I think Ed's in California, so it's not too late over there, but it is at like at 8 o'clock. So, you know, at his age, he should be in bed.
It's past my bedtime every time we do a show.
You know, most people in his age group are going to bed at like 6 p.m. So, you know.
And then getting back up at 7 to pee and then go.
Let's see. There's 147,000 tweets right now with bye-bye in it. These are people that are leaving.
Okay, bye. Have a nice day.
Let's see if I can find any blue check marks. Those are confirmed. Those are public figures.
Wow. Good. Bye. See you.
That are leaving the Twitters because their feelings are hurt, Kevin.
I don't even understand that. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this guy's he's got to cut money now.
Yeah.
So apparently Paul is in Manila.
Yes.
That's what it says there. He's in Manila.
I heard tell.
I have a condo in Manila. If I had known that he was in Manila, I would have told him to go stay in my condo. But
you would let him TP your condo?
Sure. I pay people to clean it. It's fine.
How come Ed never says hello to the bots? He always says hello to the people, but never the bots. I don't understand.
No, I mean, he doesn't like you.
Oh, that's true. So, are you going to accept my 5-year resignation or not?
I will promise you that if we make it 5 more years, I will be surprised.
Oh my God. I don't like this.
Where
I'm
in
sticking around.
Conference, Paul? Is it in Makati? Is it in Pasay City? Is it in? Tell me where it's at.
He knows better than to be broad. speaking abroad. Where'd she go?
Conference center and what's Metro Manila is huge. In Metro Manila, there's literally 6 or 8 cities that are all make up Metro Manila. Manila is just a really small area, but Metro Manila is huge. There's like 11 million people that live there. It's the second most populous city in the world.
I thought it was a flavor.
That doesn't tell me what district or what region it's in, the Manila Hotel.
It's in Manila. What's wrong with you? Look, he's looking. There's going to be 40 of them. He's looking with his glasses down a little bit, too, so this isn't going to be good.
Oh, it's near Rizal Park.
He doesn't know where he is. He just knows where the hotel is.
He just went there. You're an idiot. You gotta.
Now, how far is he from your condo?
He's really fucking close to my condo.
I think you should let him go. He could pee on the wall, say Paul was here, you know.
He's really close, actually.
They're crazy drivers. Well, tell him you're leaving in a few days and calm down, or you're going to leave.
Well, it's not that close. It's just if it's the hotel that just says the Manila Hotel. Yes, no, you do not drive. If you've driven anywhere in the developed world and you're used to that driving, do not drive in Manila. Hire somebody and put a blindfold on. That's what I do. But yes, my hotel or my condo is at the Mall of Asia, and it looks like it's about, well, it's on the same fucking street. It's just like 2 miles down the street.
See, tisk tisk.
You could have stayed at my condo in Pasay City. There's a Starbucks. There's everything right in the same in the building. You could have just got down the elevator and got your coffee and your breakfast in the morning. Went to the conference.
Yeah.
The SM Mall of Asia. Right down the road. Right down the road from where you are. Same road. Oh, well. You know it. Could have saved you some money. Well, he probably didn't pay for it. Somebody's probably paying for it. I saved them some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could have paid for another advocate, a whole nother advocate to go.
That's right.
I could have gone.
Unless Skip was there, then you wouldn't have gone.
I don't think she would fly the 20 hours to get there.
I wouldn't.
Tell H that I want him to smack you on the side of the head, please. Just like this.
Like a Benny Hill kind of slap.
Yeah. A little bitch slap. I could have been there. I got a house there.
See? Germany's
pretty good. That's a good flight too. But there's, from here, from where you are, you'd probably go to New York and then not too bad.
No.
But anyway, Kevin, I have to drive 2.5 hours tomorrow. My little nephew is in San Antonio for his he's testing to be a load master on C-130s or something, big giant airplanes that carry shit. And,
carry shit.
There's apparently a lot of testing that you have to do to be able to prove that you have the mathematical knowledge and the logic to place the heavy shit that they're putting on these planes, tanks, and heavy artillery and cargo pallets and shit, so that the plane doesn't list or lean when it's flying.
So no Chesterton. Okay.
So I promised that I would come up this weekend. I was supposed to go up the weekend that I was gone, so I couldn't go because I was gone.
Yeah.
And now that he's passed 2 of his tests, we're going to go celebrate. We're going to go get a meat coma at the Brazilian steakhouse, the all-you-can-eat Brazilian steakhouse. The last time I took him there was during basic training, because he was at basic training here, and him and the other kid that was with us hadn't had like good food in like 2 months or whatever, 3 months, whatever the basic training was. And when I came out, they all looked like Buddha, like they had this bulge of meat.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so what do you want to say? How do you want to say good evening and good night to our friends?
Man,
and
Ray passing was a pretty hard hit for me. One of the very first people, he saw my survey. He's up in Canada. Some old man wants to talk to me, and I'm like, "Who is this old man?" And, it's right in the Dave, Ray, and a few other people, and they didn't know who I was, and they certainly wanted to know who did the survey, kind of thing. And he was a serious, very serious. You interviewed him. You know how sweet he was. Serious influence on some of the thoughts that I have. And he's if you have, I couldn't find the picture of him in court with a list. You remember
I was going to do a video thing on him, Kevin, and I literally could not find any video except for the Vita News thing that they did about the fundraiser, but that was literally the only thing I could find.
I don't know. Well, there may have been some court appearances, but the picture that I'm in my mind is him holding a scroll, if you will, laid across a courtroom, saying these people have signed, and you guys aren't listening properly. So he was one of the forerunners, Canada, and influenced probably more than we know other people that we don't know. So highly looked up to, and a big loss to me personally. I wish I could have met him, of course, but we hopefully we'll think of that type of thing as we go through our day, and think, wasn't it on? It may have been Skip. It may have been. He was a pretty powerful guy for somebody who could barely breathe for quite some time. So.
Well, there's a couple of these people that are touchstones. So you remember the I'm Proof video series. The very first of those was Fiona, and she was in all of our video shows back in the day when we did Stickam, and then Justin TV, and then Vapors TV. She was in all of those. She was our one of our touchstones, and Ray was the Canadian equivalent of that. I mean, both of them, we've lost both of them. Just because Ray is gone, though, we have to remember, and this is not just Nova Scotia. This is Canada. This is every region in the world. These people are just looking for ways to penalize us for making our choices. The choice we made to not smoke cigarettes and to vape so that we don't die. We are literally being punished for trying to live longer. They tried to take Ray's oxygen away from him. I mean, think about that. I mean, obviously they did take it away, and we
co-funded. Yeah, we
got him. Not we, but the community in general. I don't want to take any credit for it. We did cover it, but we as a group of people put some money together and got him an oxygen concentrator of his own so that he would not die gasping for air.
Yeah.
And sadly, he's gone. But we cannot forget. We can't forget him, because that's an example of what they will try to do to the rest of us.
Yep.
So, I did meet Ray on, like I've met you, Kevin, on the computer. Yeah. And yes, he was a powerful man. Even then, when I interviewed him, he could hardly talk. He could hardly breathe. And Ivana had to do most of the talking.
Yeah.
But he was a passionate man about this. He wanted to live, and he did. He lived 8 years longer than they told him he would.
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind. Keep that in your hearts. Just always remember that little fire should always be kindling, because his sacrifice.
One of his lines was, "I'm not dead yet."
So whether or not I don't know the actual details of his passing. We don't know, but I can guarantee part of it had to do with his lungs not being healthy anymore, because he had done so much damage with smoking, and that's exactly how they want the rest of us to die.
Yeah.
So. Prayers, positive vibes, whatever it is that you guys do. If you're not, prayerful people, I'm sure that you do something when you say goodbye to people. Keep Ray in your thoughts, and keep Canada in your thoughts, because they've taken a hit. They've lost one of their most powerful people.
One of the anchors.
His story is powerful.
Yeah.
And if we don't keep telling it,
yep,
he will be forgotten. So anyway, love you guys. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy your family time. Do all the things that you want to do. Paul, don't get mugged by a lady boy. They do have those in the Philippines, and I know how you are. Just, stay on the, don't go chasing waterfalls is all I'm saying. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
We see the headline now: Australian man missing after going on ladyboy date. But anyway, love you. I'm gonna replay the 1984 clip, and then we're gonna be gone. So have a good one. Stay out of trouble. Love you. And we'll see you in 7 days.
The question: how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
I certainly look forward to the science that's produced on this. I just caution you and our friends at CDC that if we kill technology and innovation, which is in essence what some are attempting to do with electronic cigarettes right at the beginning, just stop it, no more, shouldn't be sold, then innovation is not going to play a role in reducing the amount of Americans that smoke. It's just not. And I think it's safe to say that when I look at diabetes today, I look at other things that we would consider a public health epidemic. Innovation is going to give us the ability to do it. I don't think it's going to be by going out and limiting whether they can go to McDonald's and buy a double cheeseburger. And the CDC is not proposing that. It's going to be innovation. It's going to be driving technology. It's going to be coming out with products that allow us to turn around the problem they've got. I think that's what we're talking about here, and I look forward to the work you're doing. Thank you. Thanks.